welcome to Bite This. Josh Matthews, and no, that's not Dr. Tom.
Unless Dr. Tom gained about 150 pounds, I'm Tommy Dreamer with my friend. Yeah.
Well,
back from the dead again.
Tommy, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Go ahead. Do your
All
thing.
right.
You're the new
well,
host
Josh
of Bite
is
This.
complaining already before the show.
My allergies, pollen, the pollen count.
So, you know, it's going to be a long show already. Ben,
Give us
who
a
do we
call.
got on
Tell
the show?
Tell them to call us up, 888 Live WWE. Today is the what is the edition today?
The Agent Show.
The Agent Show here on Bite This. Joining us will be Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson, and Finlay.
I've had them all as my agents.
Really good.
Okay.
So you have something to...
I got to ask them a lot of questions because I lost a lot and they were my agents and they didn't help me out.
And Draws will be calling in to give us his 2 cents. So if you have any questions, call us up, 888 Live WWE. So what's up, Tommy? You got a rock shirt on, huh?
Yeah, you made me change my shirt because I actually wore a light blue shirt and I would have blended in and all you would have seen this big mammoth head with my nothing, blue screen behind me, so I would have just morphed into the screen.
Hey, in 2
I
weeks...
look like Jabba the Hutt.
In 2 weeks, The Rock will be here on Bite This.
Get out.
Not in your seat, but on the phone.
Oh.
But
Can I
you can
come
still
back
be
for
here.
that one?
You can still be here. You can get him to autograph that shirt.
Sweet.
All right, let's go now to the phones, and it's Draws. What's up, Draws?
Not too much. How's it going, guys?
Hey,
going?
Draws, I'm back again. They can't get rid of me.
That's a repeat performance. I like that. You still have Josh with you, but I mean, that's cool that you're back.
Yeah. I was actually fired, but I just keep showing up. And they're like, put him on again. We feel bad for Dreamer. Josh is complaining already.
Oh, man, he's good at that, but that's okay.
So, Draws, this is the Agents edition of Bite This. Can you tell us about the role of an agent and how important the agents are to the matches?
Well, you know, I mean, these days it's the same as before. I mean, basically they're there to, you know, help prepare for the matches. I don't know, can we talk about this? Go over matches. I mean, try to keep things kind of organized. You know, I know, you know, quite a few of them these days. I know the road agents back when I was or wrestling. I mean, they're. I mean, you have to, without them, I mean, really, that's another part. You know, we did a ref show, but I mean, without a road agent show also, it's another part of the industry, part of the show, things like that, that is invaluable. I mean, without the road agents, it would make it tough to really get the show going. I mean, I don't think you could really do it.
All
Because
right.
the prisoners all need wardens, because it would be Looneyville if the wrestlers had to just take over. It would be like mass confusion, like ECW was.
There, and I guess the other place, WCW back in the day, from what you hear.
I never heard of that place.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Judgment Day. What happened? How'd you do? What were your picks? What up?
I tried going with some underdogs, and I got worked, but I ended up, I think, 4.5 right. I picked Bradshaw to win, but I didn't say he was going to win the belt, actually. I picked him to win, so technically I'm giving myself a half because he did win, even though it was by DQ, and he didn't win the belt.
Can we bet on wrestling now? I didn't know this. Is this like new?
Yeah, we do it here on Bite This. We throw up odds before the pay-per-view.
Is there money going on?
Yeah, it's like betonsports.com, but it's betonwrestling.com.
Well, I've had
I
have people that email me that say they get together with their buddies and things like that, and they make their picks and they bet on it and everything, and I'm entertained by it. But,
I would have been a
more power to
millionaire.
them if they want to bet on it. Hey.
I would have seriously been a millionaire. I would have bet against myself every single match.
Oh,
I won
you-
4 matches last year. I would have had so much money.
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay.
Draws, what did you think of Judgment Day?
I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed it. I still am trying to find myself after the Eddie Guerrero Bradshaw match, JBL match, with the bloodletting that occurred. I'm still in shock over that, but I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed the pay-per-view from top to bottom. I mean, there were some great matches there, and you know, I was really impressed.
I had gotten a lot of reports from a lot of the guys who were on SmackDown. I have friends there, unlike Josh. And they all said it was like a really, really good show. And, I mean, the Staples Center in Los Angeles was banged out, sold out.
Yeah, 18,722 fans in the Staples Center. WWE set a record in the Staples Center for a pay-per-view.
Wow.
Sweet. We outdrew those Lakers.
Yeah, and the championship fight, the Klitschko fight that happened like a week before.
Boxing's fake. Who cares?
Outdrew them.
But yeah, I heard Eddie Guerrero's match was amazing. A lot of Eddie suffered a lot of problems after that match. Josh knows a little bit more about that than I do.
Yeah, well, Eddie was rushed to the hospital. We'll find out more tonight on SmackDown. I know we're all looking forward to SmackDown tonight. It's going to be a great show, the fallout of Judgment Day.
Ugh.
And Droz, listen, thank you for being here this week. We'll talk to you next week. Phil, what's the theme for next week's show?
RVD and Chavo Classic.
Okay, there's not really a theme for next week's show. Droz?
How about guys from Los Angeles?
Actually, that's actually I got to make an announcement too. I got to actually go in next Thursday. I forgot to tell Phil that. I got to. I've been dealing with a wound on my leg off and on. I'm actually going in next Thursday and having surgery on it. So I'm going to be off Fight This for a little while, I think.
All right, well, best of luck, Droz, with everything.
Oh, thank you very much. But I'll definitely get a hold of you guys and we'll get something worked out. So.
Awesome.
And Droz, I'll probably still be here sitting in this chair because I do nothing, so...
Hey, brother, that's okay.
All right.
You're doing something now. That's a good thing.
Well, you get better, and God bless you on your surgery.
Oh,
and,
thank you.
Send your get wells to Droz via this email thing. And what are you making a face for?
I'm not. I'm just...
Email thing?
No, yeah, if you want to send any get well wishes to Droz, you send them to WWE.com, not this email thing.
Well, the fans know. They're watching this stuff.
Okay.
I'm new to it.
All right, thanks, Droz.
Yeah, hey, guys, you take care. Be good.
All right,
ya.
see you later.
I'll talk to you.
All right, you could Droz. Well, let's put that back up again, Phil. Droz, 2 cents at AOL.com. That's where you can send. That's at the bottom of Droz's column every week on WWE.com.
Nothing beats when you're feeling down when you get nice responses from the fans. And if
Why don't you read
got nothing
some? Why don't you read some instant
Dreamer,
feedback?
how much weight have you gained? You look like hell. What? No, it doesn't really say that.
No, it does right here.
Tommy, can you put Josh to sleep? No. He's going to put all the fans watching this show to sleep, though.
It doesn't ever say that. It doesn't say that
Tom,
anywhere.
you ever going to mention the feedback room today? I just did. Look, T-Dreamer thing. How about I try to get one of these AOL
Tommy,
names?
your bite this push rules.
Thank you. The only show where Tommy Dreamer had a push here in the WWE.
You should
on
have a
Bite
match
This.
on Bite This. Not against me. We'll get a ring, set it all up.
I'll
Actually,
kill
it tracks.
you.
There's one right down there. It doesn't have to be against me.
Why not? I love beating you up.
No, it
Are
can
we
be
going to the
against
phone?
anyone.
What are we doing? Anything?
No,
we got anything?
no, we're going to start
Wait,
the
let's talk
agents.
about
no,
this.
we're going to start the agents.
It's on sale
edition.
Tuesday.
Yes.
The new
Raw
Raw magazine.
with
Raw
Edge on
was
the
the
cover.
better brand.
There you go. Edge is on the cover of the new Raw magazine. Pick it up this upcoming Tuesday. SmackDown magazine is on sale now.
And they also got a picture of Victoria running over Shawn Michaels on a motorcycle. See how that happens? Victoria's running over Shawn Michaels.
It is
And-
the agent show here on Bite
All right.
This. We're going to start things off with our first agent, and this is Fit Finlay. Hello, Fit. Fit,
Hey,
how are you?
good, how are you?
Good, thank you very much. Josh Matthews and Tommy Dreamer is joining us here today, Fit.
Wonderful.
Hi, Fid. How are you, sir?
Wonderful, how are you, Tommy?
Nice to hear from you. Haven't seen you in a while.
How's things going?
I'm stuck here with Josh, but besides that, it's good.
Hey, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, see, nobody likes you, ever. All these guests.
They're just joking.
Yeah, right, they're serious.
Fit, today is the agent show on Bite This. Can you explain to our fans here on WWE.com exactly what an agent does and how you can compare it to being a wrestler?
Well, what an agent does is pass on knowledge, really. The business has changed a little bit, and Tommy can verify this too, is that we used to learn, or guys used to learn in the ring off more experienced wrestlers. We don't have as many of them anymore, so I think the agent's job, as well as being event directors when we're on the road, is to teach and to pass on knowledge and, correct, and also pat people on the back, So it's a challenging effort, We all try to pass our knowledge along, and not to make everybody wrestle how Fit Finlay would or the individual agents, but to pass on a knowledge of the wrestling business.
That's because nobody's as tough as Fit Finlay. I'd like to say that on the
got
air
it.
for the record.
It's on the record.
All right. It's officially on the record.
Fit, the number one email we received is, will you ever get back and compete in the ring?
I don't know about that. I would like to. I would never say never. I get that itchy feeling every time I watch a match, especially when I'm on the road and I really sit down close to the ring to scrutinize what everybody's doing and get close quarters. I get the itch to climb back in the ring.
Isn't Raw going to Ireland soon?
Yeah, we're going. We'll be there next Wednesday and Thursday.
Just hit the ring hard. Beat up whoever's in there.
I think I may do that.
Why are you not wrestling there? Go talk to somebody.
Well,
you got stroke.
my next return match, I hope to be against Tommy Dreamer.
I'll book it in a heartbeat. I'd love to work with you. But actually,
unless it's against you, Tommy.
we do that lovely hardcore stuff.
You're right.
But you do that hardcore wrestling stuff. I needed weapons and everything.
Well, okay. Well, you get the weapons, and I'll try and take them off you. How's that?
No, thank you.
For those of our fans that don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your illustrious career?
My illustrious career started way back. My first wrestling match, as such, was 1974. And that doesn't make me old. I just started very young before you start chirping in there. I started, my father was a professional wrestler and a promoter. And he was promoting, and one day, someone didn't show up, and he threw me in the deep end, so to speak. I wore my father's wrestling boots and his tights and his ring gown and stuff, which all drowned me. So I actually started at a tender age of 14-year-old.
Wow.
Then I went from there, went from Ireland to England and Germany and Austria and Japan, and went my way through all those years of championships and just building a reputation for myself, really. Kicking doors down and stuff like that.
And you
But I just kept traveling and just kept working at my job. And when I was working in Europe, I took maybe a week off a year, went home to Ireland to see my parents and stuff. But other than that, I was on the road, 7 days a week.
Wow.
I just kept going and learning as I went along.
And with your working in Japan, is that how you got into WCW?
No, actually, the WCW called me. I was working in Austria, and for one strange reason, I was sat. We used to have our own caravans. We sit in the same. We'd work in the same arena 8 weeks in a row, every night, same arena, same place. So we didn't have to travel much at that time, and I injured my ankle, and I was sat at home for a while. For 3 days off I had, and a phone call came, and it was actually. When Kevin Sullivan took over the booking in WCW, and he'd been talking to Steve Regal then, and they just called me, and I happened to be able to take the phone call, and they asked me to come over. I said, well, I was never interested in coming to the States, to be honest. I was always working, I was earning enough money, I was comfortable, and I said, well, I'll come for a couple of months. So I came over in '96, I think it was, from January. I started in January. Instead, 4 months, and when they wanted me to stay, I said no. I'm going back to Otto Vance. I'm a loyal person, so I said I'd be back, and I went back. And then they called me the following year. They wanted me to stay. So the money was better, and the offer was better, so I crumbled to the price.
Yeah, I hear you.
So that was the start of it, and then I went through WCW up and down. I coming from wrestling every night, and then WCW at the time were only, I think, working 11 times a month or something like that, and I'd be working 7 times a month there, and it was driving me nuts. I couldn't stand sitting at home. I was used to being out on the road and in the ring and causing trouble and getting drunk. So it drove me nuts for a while. I just wanted to go back to Europe, and then they started working more, so I was on the road a bit more. Then, of course, probably know that I get injured and things happened, and
The dreaded table took you out.
right, Formica top. So it wasn't one of the regular tables. They had a Formica top from, don't know where it came from, but I went through that table. It was like going through a plate glass window, and I almost took my leg off and told me I wouldn't wrestle again and stuff. I said, I'll be in the ring in a couple of months. So.
Exactly, because he's old school, not like
Exactly.
some of these young prima donnas.
They offer a sore stomach or a sprained wrist or something like that, Suck it up and keep going.
We're getting a lot of questions. Who was your toughest opponent, or who brought out the best in you as a competitor?
Well, I just got asked this a couple of days ago, and after 30 years in the business, I've wrestled a lot of people, as you can imagine, all over the world. In Japan, there's Ligers and a lot of European wrestlers that maybe some people wouldn't know. There's like Tony Sinclair, Marty Jones, and Mark Rocco, who was the original Black Tiger in Japan.
Right.
But one thing sticks out in my mind always when I get this question asked is in Bremen, Germany, I wrestled a 2-against-1, myself being the one, against Owen Hart and Chris Benoit, and I think that was probably up there among the top matches I really enjoyed. And then there was all those run-ins with Regal when I got over here, So it would be unfair to put one ahead of the other, but I had some real good opponents and good guys to work with. Of course, I had my bunch of guys that should never even be in the ring as well. Come across those people too.
I'm sitting next to one of them.
I know.
And speaking of which, Fit, we have a surprise just walking in here.
I bet he's got blonde hair.
It does. Your boss, our boss.
How'd you know that, Fit?
You got to sit down there, Johnny. Come on. You're on TV, on the internet.
You're on the World Wide Web.
Do we have a microphone? Mic this man up. Well.
I can't stay long. Busy schedule.
Oh, please stay. Josh loves
I
you.
don't have the.
We may not be able to hear you right now. Just wait till you. I know you haven't been on TV in a long time. Just wait a
I
second.
may not have the affordabilities like.
Yeah, he's not used to the technical side of it.
All right, we're live here in the studio. Tommy Dreamer, Johnny, former ace, Laronitis, and this idiot. And we got a surprise guest. John, what do you got? Talk. Why are you here? What's up? Am I fired? What's going on?
Just want to see what my agents are up to and what they're talking about.
I'm out by the pool.
How did I know that?
Well, you're in Stanford, you know.
Yep. How about Arn? Is he on or no? Is he just Fit?
Just Fit now. Arn will be on a little bit later, and then we're going to have Dean Malenko.
We follow a format here. We're not crazy. I know they think we
that's
are.
the format right there. Tommy's got his sheets right there. He doesn't look at them.
Well, I just thought I'd stop in and answer any questions anybody has or anything
You got
like
a
that.
Dynamic Dudes for Life here. That was a lot of good hardcore fans. They remember you. They never forget these fans.
He's got a skateboard for sale as well.
Wow, Fit Finlay zinging you here on Fight This. That's what this show's all about. The repercussions you get faced later.
So what are we talking about with the agents?
How much we like you.
Stop it.
We're talking to Fit, and the next question we have for Fit is, people say that you're responsible for the incredible improvement of the women's wrestling over the past few years, and what do you have to say about that, Fit?
Well, I don't know, really. I just, I got working with the girls and treat them like the guys, really, you know, make them wrestle and suck it up, you know, so to speak. Not treating them like girls and little girlies, and, you know, I don't like people who complain a lot and, you know, get hurt and cry off, so I don't let the girls do that, and I don't like the guys who do it either, so I just, you know, basics, that's all it is. I don't try to teach them to wrestle like me. I just get them the knowledge and how to put holds on properly. It's basically, that's all it is, you know.
And I remember when Fit wasn't here and the women's division was kind of lagging. There was a few injuries. A couple people had left the company, and then Fit came in. And the women's division is probably on top of its game. I mean, from Trish and Molly, Lita, everyone has really, Victoria, elevated their game. We don't really want you on the show. That's why I keep pushing
my
over
chair
here.
further and further away.
So Fit has done a
Can't
great
even see me.
job.
All you can see is my hand now.
I will say, any female who comes to the WWE and wants to get a tryout or a look-see, as long as all the male talent, of course, we have Fit, does all the training.
It's not just, you know, what they look like. They got to be able to wrestle.
No, and I value Fit's judgment on exactly what their abilities are and what their limitations are.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to the phones. This is Chris from Florida. Chris, you're on the phone with Tommy Dreamer, Johnny Laurinaitis, and Fit Finlay's on the phone.
Hi, Fit. First, I want to ask, out of all the WWE divas that you've trained, which one do you think has excelled the most? And what do you think of the women's division today compared to, 99 and 98?
Well, to answer your last question first, in my opinion, and not blowing my own trumpet, but I think the women's division is way above what it used to be. And that's not saying that there weren't tremendous women wrestlers in the past, It's a different game right now. We've got some pretty women who are quite tough as well. They've all excelled tremendously since I started working with them. Trish in particular, Victoria, Jazz, they've all got their different styles and characteristics. Molly is tremendous. Gail Kim, who's just newly on the scene, she's a tremendous asset to the women's division too. I couldn't just say to you, each, this one's way above the others, because I try to keep them in competition with each other, to try to outdo each other, to try and excel in their own efforts and their own abilities. So I'm just really pleased with each and every one of them, And Lita, of course, coming back from that horrible injury she went through, I think she's done a great job in the last couple of months since she's come back. But I'm really pleased with every one of them.
Well, Fit, listen, thank you very much for being here on Bite This. Really appreciate your time.
Wait, that's it?
Well,
Yeah, no,
he's been
Josh is very rude.
stay
He
on.
rushes people
I mean-
off
No,
the air.
Tell me you got my address. Send me the check.
Yeah. He rushes people off the air. This
That's
is what
not
he
true,
does
Tommy.
here.
You
Even with you being
No,
here,
no.
he's just showing.
You want me to
Well,
leave?
why don't you say, excuse me, Fit, thank you for your time. We have, who next? Arn Anderson calling. We all know Arn gets angry. So, thank you for calling
Actually,
in.
it should have been, excuse me, Fit.
All right.
Do you have anything else to say?
You know what? Not a word. I'm going back to school. I'm going to lie in the sun right now.
Because we
I've
all
got-
know how much Fit loves the internet.
Love it.
I have a question for you, Fit.
What?
Are you going to do that little dance you did last time we were in Ireland, this tour in Dublin?
It depends how many Guinness I've got.
Sweet. Thank you, Fit. It was
All right,
nice
guys,
talking
thanks
to
a
you.
lot. I'm going back to the sun.
See you later.
See ya.
Johnny, we got a question for you on the phone. This is Peter from Ontario. Peter, you're on the phone with Johnny Laurinaitis.
Hey, Johnny. The question I have for you is a question that I'm sure many wrestling fans have. I recently read an article on a video game website. Sting had been interviewed, and he seemed really interested in coming back to the WWE. I just wondered how likely that is to happen.
Who?
Sting.
Sting.
Sting was never in WWE.
No, he's interested in coming back to the WWE. I have not
was here.
heard that. I have not. If Sting was interested in coming to the WWE, we would definitely talk.
Pick up the phone, send an audition tape. That's how it's done.
Well, Johnny, why don't you tell everyone about your promotion here in the WWE so they can get an idea. We're trying to tell the fans what an agent does and things like that. You know, the fans don't get to see the agent, see what happens before the matches that they see on Raw or SmackDown take place.
The agents facilitate and help the talent, you know, with their matches and getting better in the skills of being a wrestler, timing, psychology, and such. And that's really the job of an agent, is to help the talent get better. And that's why most of the agents, like a Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson, Fit Finlay, have specialized backgrounds in different areas that can help different talent.
All right. Well, now let's go to our next agent here on Bite This. This is Arn Anderson. How's it going, Arn?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
It depends. How you doing?
Very good. Very good.
Tommy, you want to say hi to Arn?
Hi, Arn. It's Tommy Dreamer. How are you?
Hey, Tommy. How are you?
Nice to hear from you. Haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm wonderful, except I'm sitting here with Josh. I always got to zing Josh. Johnny's a surprise guest. We're talking about agenting. We're talking about what an agent does. So what's going on? What are you doing?
Right now, watching kids. I'm doing the Mr. Mom thing. Have a bit of an illness in the family, so I'm picking up the slack for my wife and figuring out just how hard her job is.
So in other words, you got the handoff.
That's exactly right.
Arn, if you could, can you tell us about being an agent? Do you enjoy it, and how does it compare to being a wrestler?
Well, I'm one of the few guys on this planet that was a wrestler, and that's my occupation, and it was suddenly taken away from me, that get to still be around the business. I get to work hands-on with the young talent and the older talent, and being an agent with WWE has a lot of facets. Basically, we go around the country and the world and set up shows, do some organization, and work with basically event coordinators, DJs, young talent, older talent. Basically, when we get to an arena on a given day, when a WWE, a live event is happening, we're the organizers. And it's a wonderful way to still be around the business, still be involved, and see the young talent grow.
Arn, we received a ton of emails wanting to know what you think if you can compare the Four Horsemen to Evolution.
Well, you're talking, oranges and apples. You're talking about two different situations, and it depends on which version of the Four Horsemen you're talking about.
That's true. Hey, Arn, how do you compare the Four Horsemen to the Dynamic Dudes?
Who? Well, one of those guys was pretty good, and he's still around. No. The reality is, Evolution is, to me, is one of the nucleuses of Raw, and they're a group that has the same. All the Four Horsemen were, if you look back to the original group, all it was that made them special was a commitment to excellence. I think these guys have the same thing. So they're very similar. They're very different in their content. In fact, that the athletes today are much better. They're much bigger. They're much stronger. I mean, God, we would have loved to have had a Randy Orton. You know, Randy Orton was our Barry Windham. Batista, I guess, would have been our Luger. But if you look at the athletes of today, they're much bigger, they're much stronger. It is evolution. It is the evolution of the business. But to compare the two, who knows, was a better group. There'll be some that'll say the Four Horsemen, the original Four Horsemen, was something special. I feel that way, but then again, I'm biased. So who knows?
We got a lot of questions. Who did you like tagging with better, Tully Blanchard or Bobby Eaton?
Again, oranges and apples. Was going to do before he did it, and vice versa. I thought we were pretty damn good.
For our fans watching on WWE.com, what you just saw was a clip from SummerSlam 1998. And Arn, we have a question for you on the phone. This is Mike calling from Boca Raton, Florida. Mike, you're on the phone with Arn Anderson.
Hey, Arn.
How you doing, man?
It's a pleasure talking to you. How you feeling, dude?
Good.
Great. I was asking about your neck. I wanted to ask you also about the NWO skit back in the old WCW, if that really induced any hostility, or was it just business?
Well, I get asked that a lot. Not knowing what it was going to be, not having any idea. It pissed me off. It pissed me off because I thought it was a personal attack. And I addressed it. I addressed it with Kevin Nash that night. And let's just say that the conversation, came out to my satisfaction. It was business, and I tell you what, if it pissed enough people off that they're still talking about it today, it worked. And but to me, there are parameters that you stay within, and there are parameters that you go outside of. I thought that went outside the parameters of good taste. But who's to say? I don't carry a grudge. I don't have any ill will against those guys. I don't know what the quarter hour was. I'm sure it was huge, and at the time, that's all that mattered. So business is business, personal is personal.
Mike, thanks for the question. We got a lot of emails for you, too, Arn. This is one from Tom of Indianapolis, Indiana. Says that in his opinion, you are the best interview in wrestling history, even surpassing Ric Flair. Would you ever consider utilizing that talent by working in a managerial role?
Well, you just knocked me down with that one. Not only do I don't believe that. It was a nice compliment, really was, and again, that's a personal opinion, and I'm very flattered. God, I don't know if the situation arose. I would love, to say I wouldn't love to be back in a situation with WWE on camera. Well, yeah. Of course I would. I'm a performer. That's what I do by trade. I've been forced into being an agent, but you know what? I love my job as an agent. I wouldn't swap my job as an agent to be back on camera for 1 minute. But if the right situation came up and I could do both, maybe.
Well, I remember one specific double-A moment as an agent. We were also you added to a match. We were somewhere in the Carolinas, and it was Flair and Triple H, and you came out and you hit a spine buster, and the place erupted. And it was a great feeling. All the boys in the back popped big, and it was just, he can still go as a performer, Josh. I'd love to see you just smack this kid around because he's annoying. Nobody likes him.
Hey, Arn?
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of questions I see about do you still keep in contact with Tully, and what's your relationship with Rick? That I think the interviewers want to kind of know.
Well, Tully and I don't talk very often just because our paths go different ways. Tully is out of the business within your family. I think everybody will tell you that works for this company the same thing. Rick and I, even though we live 4 or 5 minutes apart, we don't spend a whole lot of time socializing. He has his family, I have mine. It's not because we're not very good friends, just the fact that when we come home that, my little one has baseball games, my big one has other things going on. My wife would like to go to a movie every now and then. So there's just not a lot of time to be had, but Rick is probably the best friend I have on this planet, and I hope that continues to be what it is.
Cool. If you have any questions for Arn Anderson or any of our other guests, give us a call, 888-LIVE-WWE. Arn, we have a call for you right now. This is from Clint of Indiana. Clint, you're on the phone with Arn Anderson.
Hey, Arn Anderson, it's a privilege to get a chance to talk to you.
What's very kind of you, sir. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Hey, I loved your NWA and WCW days, but I wanted to ask you a question about one of my favorite all-time moments on Saturday night's main event. You probably know what I'm talking about. The Brainbusters. You, Tully Blanchard, Bobby Heenan as your manager. You guys put on an excellent performance against Demolition, won the tag team titles 2 out of 3 falls. Just thought I'd get a few comments from you about how you felt about that evening.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, yeah, it was one of my something new. It was a privilege. It was an honor because those guys were as good. Well, they were the best at what they did. Bobby Heenan, right today, is probably the most entertaining guy you've ever talked to. If you've ever had 5 minutes alone with him, you'd know what I'm talking about. Andre was special. Just the rub and just the association with those two guys made it special. Plus, Demolition at that time, they were the killers of the company. And, and if you got to steal one from those guys, so be it. Because at that point in time, the ass kicking we were getting wouldn't have mattered if the ceiling would have fallen in. I'd have been happy with it.
All right, we got another email. This is from Nick of the U.S. Air Force Academy. Wants to know if you think that adding Steve Mongo McMichael to the Four Horsemen was a bad idea. Also wants to know if letting David Arquette win the World Championship was a bad idea as well.
I'm a big fan of Mongo McMichaels. Not necessarily as a wrestler, but just as an athlete and as a man. I got to know him a little bit, not that much, but at that point in time, it was WCW trying to reincarnate another version of the Horsemen, and it had been done to death. Seemed like in those days they never needed the Horsemen till they needed them, and then they would dust them off and put some combination together with Rick and I being the nucleus of it. Mongo, I thought, picked it up pretty good. Our business, if everybody could do it, everybody would, and that's a fact. And just, the reality is, just because you're a great athlete in another sport doesn't mean you can automatically switch over and be a great wrestler. And I think in Mongo's case, that was the situation. He looked mighty good standing there. He was pretty damn tough when the fighting started, but he wasn't a great wrestler, and he'll tell you that. So I was happy to have Mongo aboard at that particular time. There were certainly some additions along the way, in the Horseman scenario that I wasn't so happy with, but he was one that I was happy with. He's a hell of a man, and we were glad to have him. Now, the David Arquette thing was so far out. It was so ridiculous. And this is no reflection on David Arquette, because when I got to know him, shot a couple of games of pool with the guy, he was a pretty fair fellow. Matter of fact, he was better than a fair fella. But he had an opportunity to walk into our business and have something dumped in his lap that, as preposterous as it was, who wouldn't have taken it if you're looking at it from his perspective? So he did. But what it did was it was just a ha-ha to the 10th power as far as our business went. I don't really know how I can express how sick it made me being old school, because the world title to me is a religious situation. And to put that on just some guy off the street in any scenario made me want to puke. I don't care. I think the whole scenario was, okay, it'll make USA. Okay, it will generate, people talking. Fine. Let's generate people talking by putting a world-class product out there. That's the way I look at it. And the David Arquette thing made me want to puke, and I guess that's it.
Were you involved in that creative process there, mister?
No, I was not.
Are you sure? You were there during that time.
Actually, Arn might have been on the creative team at that point.
No, I was not.
Everyone's passing this big ball of heat. All right.
I don't think I was there, was I, Arn?
No, you were not, sir.
All right.
I was still in Japan.
anyone with a background like John has had, or you, Tommy, who has bled bucketfuls and sweat your ass off and half killed yourself up and down these roads, that would have nauseated you as well.
Yep. It did.
It did.
But I haven't sweat my ass off that much because it's still huge. So,
Arn, you mentioned a few times throughout this interview that you were forced out of the ring. Can you tell some of our fans who don't know the injuries that took you from wrestling?
Yeah, well, I actually ended up... Hello?
Yep.
Okay. I actually broke my neck 3 times during the course of my career. First 2 times, I was able to rehab back. My right arm died the first time. Rear delt went completely flat, bicep completely. That was a 3-month deal. Second time, I just worked through it, which was leading into the third situation. I was due to wrestle Lex Luger, I want to say 1997, maybe, in Las Vegas. The year may be incorrect. But the day before that match, it was a pay-per-view event, and I was walking across the parking lot of the Gold's Gym there in Las Vegas, and I locked the car. I went in. I grabbed a couple 30-pound dumbbells, and one just dropped out of my hand. It was one of those nightmare deals that all athletes have. I reached down to pick it up, fell right out of my hand. My left hand just completely died. I went back to the hotel. Couldn't work out, couldn't do anything, did a lot of soul searching. There was a guy came to the building the next day that was into the deep massage. What was that guy's name, Tommy, that used to hang around, that was like the karate guy, you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, the deep tissue massage guy that was...
Francois?
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. He came down, he worked on me, nothing worked. I thought it was just, pinch nerve like everybody else. I went out and worked that match. No one knew, had no grip in my hand. No one knew. I wrestled Luger, 20 minutes or whatever it was. Continue. The hand started to wither up, and finally, just one day, I couldn't even lace my boots. And I was told by one of the WCW executives, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I can't lace my boots. I'm trying." He said, "Go get that checked." So I went and got it checked, and I had 4 vertebrae, 5, 6, 7, and T1, that were impinged, blocked, cracked vertebrae, the whole thing, the whole shoot match. Too large an area to do a fusion, so they did what was called a laminectomy surgery. They took bone all the way out, but it was such a large area they couldn't put any bone back in. So hence I have a lot of rotation in my neck that I didn't have for years, but no protection. So I can't take a lick in the back of the neck. And other than that, I feel great. I don't know what the parameters are of the lick I can take. And by the time I take it, it's going to be too late. So I decided that it was time to spend my time walking whatever I had left on the earth instead of sitting. So that's when I retired.
Wow. Well, Arn, if you have, Johnny, Tommy, if you guys have anything more you'd like to add with Arn Anderson?
Arn was an innovator in this industry. He's left his mark on this business, and his knowledge that he still spreads as an agent helps everyone. I mean, He pretty much invented the spine buster. As a presence, I mean, if you look, Chris Benoit does that thing, but that was Arn. There's nothing more you can say about Arn Anderson, the competitor or the man. There's the spine buster, Tito Santana right there.
Well, Arn, thank you very much for being here on this Bite This. We really appreciate it. We'll let you get back to enjoying the afternoon.
Well, to that, Tommy.
Yes.
Let me just say this. Forget about the titles, forget about the money, forget about the notoriety. To have just one member of this business, just one guy say that about me has made everything I've went through worthwhile, and that hits the heart. And I just want you to know that means a lot to me, and thank you very much. I think we all have just one responsibility in this business, is to leave it better than we found it. And if we can all do that, I think we'll all be in good shape. So thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the show. Appreciate it. look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, Arn.
Okay, thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
And on the phone, we have a question for good old John Laurinaitis. Jeremy from Louisville, Kentucky. You're on the air. What's up?
Mr. Laurinaitis, first of all, I wanted to say congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you.
And I attend OVW every Wednesday night, and I was wondering how you figured the progress of the current superstars are doing. In particular, OVW superstar Toughen Up 3 champion Matt Capitelli and an up-and-comer of Seth Skyfire.
Well, Matt Capitelli has some really unusual talent, and Matt's going to be a great addition to WWE. He's had some problems lately with, I believe it's a concussion, which he's doing very well now. I think Matt's going to be a great addition to the Cruiserweight line of talent that we have. Who's the other guy? I couldn't hear you.
Skyfire.
Skyfire's okay. I mean, you know, he needs a little work, as that's why they're in OVW, obviously, is to train and work out in the ring and get better. So I think both are going to do very well.
All right, Jeremy, thank you for the question. I believe we had more questions on the phone for Mr. Laurinaitis. Is that right, Phil?
Yeah.
If you could.
Raven from LA.
Raven from LA, you're on the phone with Johnny Laurinaitis.
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Good.
How you doing?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for you guys coming to our city this past week. I went to all 3 shows, LA, San Diego, and Vegas, and glad to see you guys back on the West Coast.
Did you enjoy the pay-per-view?
It was great. I had a great time.
Thank you for coming out.
I have a quick question for Johnny. Back in your days in WCW when the skateboards were cool and the tights were green, and you had a piece of baggage for your partner, did you ever wish that you could make it to the WWF instead of being there and looking at the other blonde bombshell?
First of all, I didn't, I don't consider Shane Douglas a piece of baggage. Shane's got a bad rap, but I treat people how they treat me, and Shane and I always got along good, and he watched my back, and I thought he was very talented, and that he would have actually gone further than he did in this business. Had I thought I'd go to the WWE, actually, no. Once I went into Japan, and I was based in Tokyo, I liked what I did, and I never foresaw myself leaving Japan really to do anything else but just wrestle. And when I made a decision a couple of years back to go into WCW, one of the main negotiating parts was that I wouldn't be back in the ring. I left wrestling behind in the ring, per se, and went behind scenes. So, no, I never thought about really going to the WWE.
Your gimmick would be over now because, like, skating.
Skateboards are back in.
So you were a predecessor in skateboarding.
I don't know about the ripping off the trunks and the throwing the frisbees
well,
out,
some
stuff
people
like
would have
that.
hated you,
But
skateboarding is definitely
skateboarding
cool.
is very, very. We could have Tony Hawk be your manager.
Bam Margera could be on.
Taught Tony Hawk.
You can't skate. I remember Shane Douglas told me Shane couldn't skate.
Shane couldn't.
And I agree too. Raven shouldn't have said that about Shane Douglas. Raven should have called and asked you for a job. That's what I thought he was doing.
No, there's a lot of misconceptions about Shane Douglas. I have a lot of respect for his
I had a lot of great
wrestling
matches
skills
with the franchise.
Shane's issues are Shane's issues.
Yeah, I hear you. And guess what?
It's time for our third
we
and
got
final
our
agent.
third agent on the phone.
Go ahead, welcome him, Tommy.
Dean Malenko.
Tommy, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
And that was the worst looking skateboard I ever seen Johnny ever drive.
Oh, Dean, you're on the line.
Yes.
What's going on?
I just thought I'd come down here and talk to you, Fit and Arn, for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to be leaving.
That's a good call.
Dean, this is, of course, the agent show here on Bite This. Can you tell us about being an agent? Do you enjoy it, and how it can compare to being a wrestler?
And how's your boss?
My boss is probably one of the finest bosses there is. Okay, you can leave now, Johnny. No, I mean, it's not that much of a different light for me. It's something I've always done in the past as far as training guys and, working with guys in the ring and, helping guys out with their career. It's just just now that I'm not wrestling, why I'm doing it. But it was a pretty easy transition for me. I finished my career. I did what I thought everything I wanted to do and accomplished, and I was looking for a next step and looking for another challenge.
Well, Dean, speaking of that, we have an email from Krista of DeKalb Junction, New York. Wants to know what you miss most about being a wrestler and what kind of advantages you have now being a road agent.
I really don't miss much, to be honest. I mean, just from the in-ring competition of guys that had the opportunity to wrestle with, and there's probably one or two guys that I didn't get the opportunity to work with that I would have loved to work with. But as far as an agent, I can still reap the benefits of guys going out there and performing at their best and listening to me if they want or not, and just going out there and still seeing good matches and knowing that I was a part of it in some certain fashion.
Well, Dean, we understand you were interviewed about the upcoming special, the Eddie Guerrero special, Cheating Death, Stealing Life. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that was fun and not fun to do in two perspectives. One, it was Eddie's one of my closest and dearest friends in the wrestling business. Somebody that I've been with for 12 years, basically a business partner. And it was hard because I had to relive some moments that they were difficult, knowing that I saw a friend of mine go through some pretty horrific things during his career. But hey, he made it, and that's all that matters.
And the Eddie Guerrero special will be on next Wednesday, 8 Central on UPN. And Dean, earlier we asked Arn Anderson the same question. I'm going to ask you now because it's a huge email that we received. How the Four Horsemen compare to Evolution?
Well, I was to be honest with you, I mean, I don't really ever consider myself one of the Horsemen. I was on the tail end of that, and it was definitely a different version when you look back at the original. I think in anything in life you can never compare to the original. When you look at Arn and Tully and JJ and Rick, and I mean, it was just such a diverse group of guys back then, and it got revamped so many different times. I think by the time it got down to me and Chris and Steve Michael at that point, it was kind of watered down a little bit. Needless to say, I wasn't proud of being that, but I just think you can't compare with the original, and even try to compare Evolution to them. It's apples and oranges. It's a whole different time of wrestling when the Horsemen evolved as to it is now. But when you look at guys like Randy Orton and Batista, and I mean, just a bunch of young guys that are up and coming, that are the future of our industry, and that's exciting to see.
Dean, you're considered one of the greatest cruiserweight wrestlers of all time. Can you tell us what you think of the current situation in the cruiserweights here in the WWE?
There's a lot of talented guys. I mean, I think what's fun for me is to watch guys like Rey Mysterio, who I was able to bring into WCW and work with, and watching guys like Billy Kidman, who was just breaking into business and had several matches with, and kind of hopefully I was able to help his career and further it along, and Chavo, and so that's neat, just kind of sitting back and watching some of the guys that were in the ring with me and all the steps that they've taken to where they've gotten, and there's just a lot of great talent. Jamie Noble to throw in, somebody that I had fortunate to give a helping hand to in his career, and I only wish to part of me that I was still working a little bit just to work with these guys. They're just such a talented group of individuals.
If you have any questions for Dean Malenko, give us a call, 888-LIVE-WWE. Let's go to the phones now. This is Christopher from Providence, Rhode Island. Chris, you're on the phone with Dean Malenko.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Good, doing good. My question is, during your run in WCW, right, how did you feel that the NWO got more TV time than the other talents in the business?
Paid more. No. No, it's, it was one of those things. There's, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be lying if I said there wasn't politics involved in our industry like there isn't in any sport or any entertainment field. And, at that time, that's what they were doing. And it's just one of those things. Nothing I complained about. I was fortunate to have a job and able to work with guys that I wanted to work with and had some good matches. And to me, that's really all that matters as far as, for me personally.
Dean, we got a lot of questions. Will you ever return to the ring? I remember when the last Cruiserweight Battle Royal at WrestleMania, there was a big rumor that you were supposed to be involved in it.
Yeah, I spread it. I just like to do stuff.
Sweet. But will you ever, I guess, one more match, retirement match?
Oh, never say never. I learned that in the wrestling business through the years. Whenever you say never is when never actually happens. If there's ever one person that could probably pull me back to have one match, I would probably be Kurt Angle. I've talked to Kurt about it several times, and he's the one guy that's left out there that I haven't worked against that I would love to. I think Kurt's my cup of tea. I see a lot of similarities in myself and Kurt. Take away the gold medal, of course, but he's just an incredible athlete, He's a great mat wrestler. I don't think I have to tell anybody that. They already know that. But he's the one guy that I would love to go head-to-head with.
I got a question for you, Dean.
Yeah.
What would you consider, because a lot of fans probably want to know this, the best match you've ever been in for you?
Oh.
Because that's a hard question, but
Yeah,
I mean, you've been in a lot of good matches, but I mean, there's got to be one that sticks out in your head, whether it be the crowd or be the opponent or be where you were at, you know?
You know, and I think you'll probably know this, Johnny, but the match I had with my brother actually in Sapporo for the junior heavyweight belt.
Yeah, I do
that was interesting because I get to work against my brother, and I don't think there's anybody that knows each other better than me and my brother do than ourselves. And that was a lot of fun, you know, and that happens very rare in this industry that you actually get to work against your brother. I actually worked against my brother and my dad, so that was a lot of fun. But that was an interesting night and something I've always looked back on.
All right, let's go back to the phones. This is Sean from Illinois. Sean, you're on the phone with Dean Malenko.
Hey, Dean, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Sean?
I'm just wondering, do you still have a crush on Lita?
Still have a crush?
Yes, he does.
No, ever since I watched her take a shower in San Jose, it pretty much stopped there. But no, it was, you know, that was a lot of fun. I got to show a different side of myself out of the ring, and I had a blast doing that. And I hope she did too. And if she didn't, well, she should lie. But no, we had a lot of fun. It was a fun time when I was doing that with her, the storyline with the Hardys.
Dean, let's check out some of these emails. This is from Matt of Mesa, Arizona. Wants to know if you're still running your wrestling school down in Tampa.
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I still get asked that quite often. When I was working in WCW, I was working a lot, and you know, my dad passed away. It'll be 10 years this September, and something that he founded and started back in '78. And I always said if it couldn't be run the right way, then I didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to be a wrestling school where I was having students actually training guys while I was on the road. And I always like to be treated the way I always treat somebody the way I like to be treated, and I just didn't think it was fair. And you know, as a legacy of my dad, if it wasn't run the way that he had it, I didn't want to have it open anymore. But maybe someday in the future, who knows what entails.
I got a question for you. Email from Jay of Oshkosh. Pretty good, guys, huh?
Yeah.
I cut right in there.
Spell that.
I'm reading off a sheet. Hey, what do you think about Eddie and Chris both being champions?
I couldn't be prouder. You know, those are two guys that, man, I think I spend more time with them than I have with my real family. But, you know, 12 years in buses in Japan and airplanes and cars and hotel rooms. And, yeah, I think we all had a common denominator about a love for this business and a goal that we wanted to reach. And, you know, I'm just elated that two of my friends that I spent so much time with have made it to the top. And I don't think there's anybody out there that can disagree that neither one of these two guys definitely don't deserve this. They deserve this more than anybody.
Cool. Another email. This is from Bill of Long Island, New York. Wants to know your opinion of the status of the Cruiserweight title today.
You know, it's interesting. I like different things, and I like entertaining things, and you know, anything that gets the Cruiserweight title name out there, and you know, there's a lot of great talent that we have on the roster, and you know, I just go with the flow these days, and you know, I just have a lot of fun working with the guys, and you know, Cruiserweight title or junior title, whatever you want to call it. It's just something that I've always enjoyed. I just thought it wasn't about size, or I think it was just a different style of wrestling, and you know, I just enjoy working with the guys, and whatever we do with it, you know, as long as the guys are working, they're having fun, and I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing.
I got a question here, since I got Johnny and Dean here.
I got a question for you, Tommy. You didn't call me this Christmas.
I was going to actually talk about that. I used to call Dean every Christmas, and then he finally said, you know, Dreamer, I'm Jewish.
Oh.
I did.
You're calling me 8 days in a row for Hanukkah. I wouldn't know what the hell to talk to you about.
Anyway, back to my questions.
I didn't know you were Jewish.
I remember specifically one time Dean Malenko, the master of 1,000 holds, the great technician that he is, comes up to you. He's like, hey, Tommy, I'm your agent tonight. And it's a hardcore match between you and Mark Henry, so I don't know why the hell I'm your agent. So do you guys ever say, oh, great, I got Dreamer's match tonight. Like, oh, boy. Do you ever have anybody's thing where you're like, oh, this is going to be a tough one?
No,
and,
I've never said that personally, Tommy, but I can tell you that every other agent has.
I tell you, and you'll agree with this, Dean, every match that you take becomes part of you. In other words,
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, and you reap the benefits, or you get the ramifications. Let's say.
Yeah, I'm not just linked to cruiserweights. I mean, it's not like I can't work with anybody over 205 or 210. You know, I worked with my dad at school for 15 years, training big guys. I mean, all the way from Kane to some guys I won't name. Kind of an embarrassment to the business, but you know, that's part of the challenge. That's part of the challenge of our job. What it entails is taking matches that you look at and go, okay, what can I do with this? And then actually having something that come out of it that's good, and you have pride in that.
And it is quite stressful because I know being in the gorilla position, and then the agent goes and they have to sit either right next to Vince, and then they're like, give you the wrestler look like, please do good, because then I'm going to get my butt reamed out here. And Vince has the Vince face on. It's crazy time in the WWE up there.
Yeah, but you know, I remember when I was working, I liked the pressure. I liked the pay-per-view nights. I like knowing that I had to go out and deliver. I mean, that added pressure was fun for me. You know, it's when I was relaxed. It's when it was okay. This is just another day.
Right.
That pressure, knowing that there's 20,000 people or how many people out there buying the pay-per-view, that all those eyes were on me for that particular moment. That I had to go out there and deliver, and that was fun. That was challenging.
I never wrestled on pay-per-view here, so I wouldn't know. I sucked.
Yeah, but now you got to go out and deliver every night behind the scenes.
Yeah, and actually, Tommy, I've got all your matches now in audiobook, so I'm enjoying that.
Thanks.
Hey, Dean, one thing on this instant feedback, we get a lot of questions about Perry Saturn and you. Just, I guess,
the Radicals.
The Radicals, being a member of it. What do you think about Perry and all that?
Have you talked to him?
You know, and it was, that's a long story. Walking out in WCW when we did, Perry being a part of it and everything, and Perry's a different breed of guy, but I'll tell you, we've always been good friends, and he's one of those guys. If he's your friend, he's your friend, and anybody knows Perry knows what I'm talking about.
Right. I heard he got a tattoo on his face.
I think he's pretty. I don't think there's pretty much any more skin left that he has tattooed.
I know he tattooed the top of his head, like all the way down to like a point, and then I heard he got like the Tyson thing on his face.
Wow. Well, the last question I have for you, Dean, I'm sure they have more, is what's the weather like down in Tampa?
It's gorgeous. It's actually I'm nude sunbathing when I'm talking to you guys outside.
Sweet.
That's a picture.
Could be worse. I could be doing it now on live TV here, but
please don't. Tommy, Johnny, if there's anything else you'd like to ask Dean, I know John, you said you asked your last question. Tommy, is there anything that you'd like to say to Dean?
Well, does that mean just because I said I answered my last question, I can't ask?
Well, you can ask another one if you want to.
He's trying to do the rush
Josh
thing
is a
again.
little
he's rushing
pushy.
people again.
He rushed Fit off. He kicked Arn off. Now he's trying to get rid of you, Dean.
Damn, Josh, that's brutal.
You can take care of him Tuesdays on SmackDown TV taping.
Josh pretty much takes care of himself.
See?
Thanks, Dean.
Josh used to take care of Hardcore Holly. Now Hardcore Holly's backed off.
Wow. No. This is all lies. So, Dean, if there's anything else you'd like to say?
He's rushing you off.
I'm not rushing off. I asked all the instant feedback questions.
For as long as we'd like.
I know that, Tommy. Is there anything that you'd like to ask Dean?
No.
Dean, is there anything you'd like to say?
What I like to say?
I got a question.
John Laurinaitis has a question.
There you go.
There's a rumor that you were once in a match against the Fantastics in Japan.
And I needed a traffic cop.
And you needed a traffic cop because someone, I think two of the opposite partners were shooting one of you off.
I think that's the night I had an argument with my brother. That was probably first ever in the history of tag team wrestling that you actually shot your own brother off, which at that time was my own partner. And then all four guys realizing, what in the hell did he just do?
These are inside private All Japan jokes, I think.
Yeah, you wouldn't know about that, Tommy.
No, I do. I watched all the tapes. I got everything.
You wouldn't know about that.
Hey, you ever get that paycheck from the Guerrero Malenko Classic from Paul Heyman?
Hold on a second. I'm just releasing my breath that I've been holding for 7 years.
But, I mean, all the fans have been fortunate to see you work through the years. I actually saw, like, you and your brother wrestle the British Bulldogs in Japan, and that was, like, pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Johnny will tell you, probably most of my fondest memories of being in the business was in Japan for sure. It's just, for me, it was just a great environment, a great place to work, and it was the type of wrestling that I did was very much appreciated over there, and it's something I always enjoyed doing.
Did you ever work against Johnny, feel the Ace Crusher?
Huh?
Do you ever work against Johnny and have to take the Ace Crusher?
No, but I will tell you this, though. Don't ever touch Johnny's food.
That's for sure. And that's why I like Japan, because I could watch guys who could actually work, because I never could.
Sweet. Well, we got honesty here on Bite This. Thank you very much for tuning in, Dean. We appreciate your time. Go lay out in the sun. Johnny's very jealous.
He should be.
And we will see you again. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the warning.
See you later.
We'll see you on Christmas, Tommy.
All right.
All right, bye.
See you, Dean.
All right, guys, I'm
You're
done.
leaving too?
I gotta leave.
You jump in on my Bite This push. You squash me down on Bite This. We're wrapping it up. Just stay here to the end. This is my show. This is the only show where I
Tonight
scored
on
a victory.
SmackDown will be the fallout of Judgment Day. Booker T takes on Funaki. Rico in his hometown of Las Vegas. And Charlie Haas take on the FBI. Rene Dupree and John Cena have a rematch from Judgment Day for the United States Championship. And the Cruiserweight title will be on the line. Chavo versus Spike versus Chavo Classic. It's a triple threat match.
Spike has gotten himself in tremendous condition. I used to travel with Spike, and everyone says I was his downfall because he used to drop me off at gyms and he would go to bars, and now he's in great shape. So they say I'm Spike's downfall because I'm not on the road anymore.
He dropped you
and
off
he
at
looks
gym.
great.
You would go to the gym and he would go to the bar?
Yeah, in the middle of the day too. He had a little problem back in the day, but now he looks great.
Does. Don't miss
better
SmackDown
looking than
tonight
you.
on your local UP. What?
He's got a better body than you.
I agree.
You got that muscle guy look.
On your local, it's the tight shirt.
Yeah.
On your local UPN affiliate. Next week, Dr. Tom returns. We'll have RVD on the phone. And in 2 weeks, on June 3rd, Tommy's already working for it. The Rock will be here on Bite This on the telephone along with the Hurricane. So don't miss that episode in 2 weeks. Johnny Laurinaitis, thank you very much for coming down and here to Bite This. Really appreciate it. Tommy, thanks for coming all the way from Greenwich.
All the way from Greenwich.
All the way from Greenwich. You came down and enjoyed it. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for joining us here on this special Agent edition of Bite This. We'll see you all next week.
I will fight till there's nothing left, till my legs are gone. You won't forget me.